Hey! Welcome back to the Doorman. A brand new episode. We are post Super Bowl Sunday and post Steven's Kansas City Chiefs winning. We are your Doorman.
Another bet lost.
Post another bet lost. We are your Doorman. My name is Evangelist, and with me, as always,
Steven, always right, never been righter in the building.
I'll give it to him. Yeah, congratulations. I think, I'm pretty sure you guys are all fed up of hearing about the Chiefs by now. We're kind of late in the week, but I just had to mention it.
I'm not sure that they're all upset.
Right. We're not sure that you're all, if you're like Steven, then I'm pretty sure you can listen to this all day.
I mean, already
been
talking about repeat, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I mean, it's 2 in the last 5 years?
2020.
Oh, 2020. 2 in the last. Okay. Yeah.
2020.
Okay. 2 in the last 3 years.
Last time the
4
Chiefs
years.
won the Super Bowl, the Lakers and the Dodgers won the title. Same.
So it could be.
The Lakers got a long way to go, but maybe wilder things have happened.
Well,
Got rid of Russell finally, thank God.
He definitely was. He was an issue. There was an issue on that squad, and it's a personality issue. It's not a talent issue, right? Because anyway, we won't even go into the purple and gold.
I'll hold my tongue.
Anyway, so before we get into the meat of things, man, I had a great little mini vacation. Since our last episode, wife and I drove up the coast to Cambria. On the way up, made a stop out in Santa Barbara. Made a stop at the Chumash Casino.
How was that?
Finally came. It was awesome. It was awesome. So I told you about that 30-day kind of detox that we went through. We did no sugar, no flour-made products, and then no alcohol.
No fun.
I mean, it was. Come on, we always have fun. Like I try to have fun in whatever I do. But this 30-day was kind of a detox. Getting the body. Getting rid of those things that happen with those 3 products. So shed 17 pounds. It was awesome. So at the end of that 30 days, man, I just went ham.
Yep.
We went ham. We just jumped into all of the great, good cheat eating.
And whatever weight you lost, you found.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Respect.
But back at it like crack addicts.
That's offensive nowadays.
What's that?
Saying back at it like crack addicts. You're mocking the fact that they
crack addicts take a break from the crack very long?
When they can't get it. It's not necessarily a planned break.
Until from the time they last have it to the following session of crack,
it's not
very long.
It's not necessarily a choice. They've either gotten arrested or very long. They've sold their last TV.
When I say back at it like crack addicts,
you're back at it.
We're back at the detox mode.
Oh, I thought you were back at it eating the sugar or something.
No.
Well then.
So for now, we're just no sugars, no flour products, no alcohol until I think we're going 28 days.
So no celebratory shot?
No celebratory shots. None of that. Not just yet.
We'll wait till
not just yet.
Next bad.
Unless we're celebrating something, a special occasion in your life. I mean, are we? No. Okay. Then we're not gonna be no celebratory shots.
Okay.
So awesome little experience. We rode Clydesdales out in Cambria.
The only horse that you could sit on.
The only horse, yeah. And I was feeling bad for this horse because it seemed to be going slower than the rest of the horses in the bunch.
Well.
So I was like, I feel so bad. My horse's name was Marshall. Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, I feel bad for Marshall. They're like, oh no, don't feel bad for Marshall. He's 7 years old. He's young.
Marshall pulls cars. The Marshall was actually in a Budweiser.
Hey, and those Clydesdales, those things are no
Let me ask you
joke.
this question.
No
when
joke.
When you got on the horse, did the horse go?
I felt like that's what that horse was doing. Yeah. No, dude, it was, what an experience, man. Horses, period. I've only ridden like maybe 3 or 4 horses in my life, but awesome.
Wow.
Awesome experience. And then, have you ever been to the Hearst Castle?
No, I heard a lot about it though.
Holy, what an inspirational visit that was. My man had a vision.
Is there a weird story behind that?
Well, I mean, the weird story is this guy was like a media mogul. He was the first Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, his dad had millions prior to him taking the reins, but his dad made millions via silver and then cattle, the cattle industry. And then my man went and bought like a bunch of newspapers, became the media mogul of the 20th century. And yeah, I mean, I guess as a kid he visited Europe, did this 1.5 years, or 1.5 months. Something. He was in Europe for a while.
As we all do.
As a child, yeah. As a child with his mother, and then he visited all these castles. This guy, in his he started the project in his 50s, right? In his 50s, he wanted to design a castle, and then each of these rooms, he's got a bunch of these guest houses. Now, one of his guest houses, 8 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a guest house that Bob Hope happened to stay at.
That's like my guest house.
Yeah. Jesus.
Mine has 9 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So his is kind of small.
Yeah. Wow, dude. You talk about inspirational, bro. I was like, dog. And all I want is, just to build a brand new house on this plot over here.
You're like, all I want is another donut. My cheat weekend.
Actually, that's exactly what happened. Creme brulee, all that good shit. But dog, that place was just bananas.
We'll have to go one day.
Yeah, you got to take the kids, the whole 9. Anyway, so awesome trip, dude. Chumash Casino, I'm going back. You guys, dude, the Willows restaurant in Chumash, holy bananas.
You guys understand that most of the root of most of his stories is based in restaurants and food.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they catch that.
Well, I mean, it's a vacation. It's because I'm so disciplined when it comes to those detox breaks. I gotta go back and just go ham with the cheat.
Sure.
Right. So
would you say that's something that you hold yourself true to? Very.
You talk about my truth. That's my truth. Work hard, play hard. So when I get a chance to play, we do it absolutely.
That's
hard as possible.
That's one of your truths.
That's one of my truths.
Interesting.
What's funny, man, is I've always shied away from that phrase, my truth, right? Because truth is truth, right?
Right.
So I mean, what may be reality for one person isn't necessarily truth. It's just one's reality. Anyway.
Perception.
Yeah.
Right.
Perception. My perspective.
Right.
So I mean, just wanted to report this awesome time that my wife and I had, and hopefully listeners out there, you guys get out there and throw some stories my way.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I'd like to go out there and throw that. If you guys would like to throw questions in the comment section,
we are constantly
questions, anything really,
right?
just fucking interact with us. But if you answer questions on one of the next episodes, we'll take the 3 top questions that we decide.
Yeah.
And take 20 minutes to just answer each question from both of our.
And I guess we should ask and beg our viewers to press the like and subscribe.
Will you please
Would you please like and subscribe us?
share? Put the bell on.
We are in dire need.
We're really trying to build our own castles.
We are definitely
So
trying
if
to
you
build
could,
castles.
if you could do a little thing,
Right.
just one click.
Yeah. Hook to Dorman up.
Yeah.
Hook us up.
Send it to a friend,
Send it to a buddy.
maybe 10.
I mean, are we
don't
begging? I don't know if
know. I feel like we're not begging.
I don't want to say we're begging.
We're pushing.
We're pushing.
I mean, we have 104 subscribers.
106 now.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Never mind.
2 more.
Don't subscribe.
Woo! The trajectory, my man. We are blasting up.
We're just 894 away from getting paid.
Hey guys, help us get paid, right?
Yeah. You guys want to see more of this?
Help us.
Help us
to monetize. Help us to monetize this experience. Okay.
Yes.
We are. I mean, look. I love the trucking industry right now. I'm looking to, do some over the road trucking in a minute. But I would love to just say that all I have to do is this Dorman podcast.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Right? That would be absolutely bomb.
We could do one, 2, 3 shows a day.
3 shows. At least 3 shows a week. That would be awesome, right? 1 Monday, 1 Wednesday, and Friday. That would be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
But again, that only happens if you like, subscribe,
right,
share, put the bell on.
And find should we post our Cash App and Venmo in there?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe you guys could.
If we do the Venmo thing, well, they can always hit us back with request. Like we got to send them money for listening. Or something. We don't want to open that door.
Well, I mean, come on. This is only a one-sided thing, guys. Okay, we're trying to launch and grow this Dorman experience. So please don't ask us for money.
This is much like taxes. It's really only focused towards us. So
anyway,
what's the topic today?
So today, look. So last week or last episode, we decided to ask the question: is it differences? Is it us dwelling on our differences? Is that what's gonna allow us as a group or allow us as a society to move forward, right? And I think our consensus was no, right? Our consensus is, and it should definitely be no, right? Because differences only, it doesn't unite. It causes the lines to be drawn, and then no matter how much you appreciate differences, it doesn't necessarily move a people forward into a progressive, a more fruitful.
It leaves you
existence.
It leaves you in a stalemate.
Yeah,
You're kind of just stagnant, sitting there.
Yeah, very stagnant.
Complaining about the differences and not moving forward to a mutual agreement.
Sure.
Which is beneficial for both sides to then move forward.
Spitting gems. My guy right here, spitting gems, man. That's anyway.
I did used to read the dictionary.
Yeah. Well, look. I mean. So today we decided what will lead us forward is, and shout out to Westby and the good culture, because it was his conversation. It was my conversation with him that kind of led to this, wanting to discuss the way forward for a society. The way forward is commonalities. We let's dwell and find our commonalities, leading to collective achievement, not just collective movement, right? It's collective achievement. So we look for commonalities, right? And then one thing Brother Westby was pointing out was that, like, first off, we in Stephen and I recognizing our similarities or our commonalities. We're both men. We're both people. We're both bald, right? We're both country. We love our country. We love, we love the traditions that we were raised with, and we look to move forward with those with the ideas that strengthen those commonalities, right?
And despite the condition that this state we live in is in, I still love California.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard sometimes to be proud of this state that we live in.
Mm.
But, again, to be grounded in pride and respect of the things that you are and places you come from, it's hard to turn your back, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to, because so many people, I read an article today, 700,000 people in 2 years
Have
left this state.
700,000.
Yeah.
But in the
That's
face
what you call
of
a
what?
mass exodus.
In the face of what? 25 to 30 million or 35 million?
Yeah, but I mean, still a big chunk to just get up and walk. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really miss it until they need to raise taxes or whatever.
Especially when we have an open border. And
Right.
other people are just storming in to fill their void.
No, that's something that I guess people could get behind, right? Certain people are behind open borders.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people are behind
Closed borders.
closed borders.
Mhm.
And closed borders doesn't necessarily mean turn around and never try to come back.
Right.
Right. Closed borders, there's a way to go about it.
Right.
There's a way, the right way to do it.
There's an application process.
Yes.
Right.
There's a process to be legally here. And I know a few people, one guy I work with every day, who went through the process the right way.
Mm-hmm.
It took him, thousands of dollars and many, many years, but he got it, and he's here the right way. So that guy's dedication to want to be part of this country the right way,
Right.
I think is obviously the right way to do it. But when somebody like that who works hard and spends the money and spends the time and then realizes that he just could have waited until now and just pack a bag and walk here and be allowed to be here is a spit in the face to people who do it the right way.
It actually is. It's a spit in the face. It's insulting.
Yeah.
It's insulting to people who want to do things the right way.
Right.
But it's a sign of the times, and I'm not when I say it's a sign of the times, I'm not one to say, oh, this is, it feels apocalyptic. It feels, when I say a sign of the times, in this era, in this bit of chaos we've been facing, and I want to say we've been facing this bit of chaos for a while now, right?
Right.
We've been facing this bit of chaos since, and again, not to move into a political realm, but there was a divisiveness that started during the Trump administration, and it had probably began. There were probably signs of this divisiveness that were kind of lingering a little bit before, but during the Trump administration, this divisiveness and then turned towards chaos began.
Right.
And then, so when I say a sign of the times, this kind of institutional upheaval, this destruction of traditions as a lot of Americans know it, began. I mean, it started to rear its face, right? It started to peak, and things started to happen, and more we've been heading into this direction of just in appearance. And I'm not saying because I'm not saying that it actually is. I'm not saying that it actually is chaotic, right? Because if we were to go out and interact and go to the bars or go to wherever it is you go to you go to church, it doesn't necessarily seem chaotic. But if you were to sit and dwell on your phone and flip through your news feeds, that's where the chaos appears, right? These images, these snippets caught on video, kind of reflect this chaos that's in the air right now.
Well, that's a collective in itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
To try to manipulate people by giving them, as we said last week, right? There's 3 sides to every story. There's your version, my version, and the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give somebody nothing but snippets of half the story, like most people now will see a story in the news and take that viewpoint of that news outlet and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't necessarily have to be true. Doesn't necessarily have to be even close to possible, right?
Right.
But when you think about it, it's like if you take a step back and do our process, right? Where you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
you move forward, you collect your thoughts, you vocalize it, and then you progress towards a result, then that's how you find the real deal. You look at both sides.
That's where the reality comes, right?
I mean, you give examples now, like this thing that's happening in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact
right
that
outside of Palestine,
Ohio, right?
Yeah.
The fact that all these things are happening, and then, you know, right in the middle of the country, and, you know, there's conspiracy theories out there that Netflix predicted this. There's a movie on Netflix, literally, that the same thing happens. A truck hits a train, and it's a chemical, and blah, blah, blah.
Weren't there a couple of other derailments?
Oh, yeah. They're all over the place.
Right.
And you have to ask yourself,
But that was the biggest one.
what is the true reason we're not seeing this, right? What is the truth behind the fact that none of this is being covered?
And prior to that, there was talk about the little chicken
Right.
operations in Connecticut that had, were being burnt down, and then all of a
60
sudden,
million chickens all of a sudden have bird flu.
right, or something having to do with the feed. I heard another story about something having to do with feed. And guys, we're not bringing you these stories. These are just little things that we'd heard. You know, so we're not reporting stories.
This is not breaking news by the doorman.
Yeah, what we're doing is giving you examples of what I was talking about. If you look on your devices, there are examples, there are snippets, there are little pieces of data, information out there that would cause you to believe that it is just a storm of chaos going on, right? Now, funny thing is, you know, I just mentioned that I went on vacation, right? So in the areas that I was at, right, people I was interacting with, you would not think of the chaos that's going on, right? Because the interactions, everybody's going about their day, they're going about their business. So I mean, that world of chaos, we were kind of removed from it, we were sheltered from it, we didn't have to think about it, but it's going on, right? These things are going on, and you know, you as a concerned citizen of this country, you as a just a person
that's generally concerned for the
well-being
of anybody who you know, love, care about, bumped into, whatever.
Right.
The fact that none of these stories are being talked about,
right,
it's
kind of disturbing.
It should be a red flag to you as to what they're really trying to do. And I say they as the general collective of our government.
Right.
Why they think that we're not capable of hearing the stories and coming to a conclusion on our own, where they feel the need that they need to produce or create an angle that we're all going to get behind.
Right. I mean, we've always said it, right? Just because we have a love for country, Stephen and I have absolute love for this country. It doesn't mean that we're saying, oh yeah, everything in the government that's going on, all the we're not behind all of their authorities, right? We're not behind all of their policies, right? We're not behind. I believe in the idea that the founding fathers came up with, the checks and balances. We believed in the Constitution and all the ideas that were promoted in this structure created by the founding fathers. But have there been individuals in these positions that have absolutely taken advantage of it? Absolutely.
Right.
Have there
on
been
both
individuals
sides.
On every side?
Right.
Right. Any authoritative position you can think of, from a police officer to high-ranking police officers to military officials and judicial officials, anything you can imagine, politicians. There have been individuals that are human, and they take advantage of this
Right.
God-given, well, not a God-given, but this position,
Yeah.
right? And I would say it's God-given, because in my heart, in my mind, we are allowed this experience by God, right? So I mean, these people, these individuals, show their human, the human flaw, the human nature within, and they take advantage, and they have taken advantage over the years. We've seen examples of that, early on with slavery, and then moving on to, we've seen it during wars that our soldiers have been sent into. People have taken advantage of positions of authority and positions of wealth and positions of power.
Right.
And we've seen it. So all of this wrong has happened, right, over the decades, over the past 2 centuries, right? We're not saying that, our love for America and our love for country excuses the behaviors of these men or these individuals. We're saying that these ideas are here, and we need to stand behind them,
Right.
and use our thought process, our ability to move and gather in number to ensure that what was initially intended moves forward. Right?
Right.
So all of this nonsense that's going on, where one person is utilizing the position for their selfish, intentions, or another person, or one group, or another group, or these different corporations, or whoever, right? We, as concerned citizens, we need to find out we need to find other concerned citizens. We need to group up. We need to find our commonalities, and
Right.
then in that move forward and achieve things collectively.
Well, it's slowly happening, right? Because you got parents stepping into
Oh man,
school district
Loving
meetings saying that certain things shouldn't be taught in school, and they're correct.
absolutely right.
You got certain people stepping up to certain things happening in their cities. They're trying to stop. I read an article today that there's a city up north that it's making it illegal for homeless encampments to be brought up, and it's a conservative city up north, but still, like, somebody's doing something, right? You're not just bending the knee and letting people do whatever they want because they're in a tough situation, and I think that's a big problem with what's going on in this world now. Is everybody just caves because somebody has an issue. Right? Somebody has a problem. Somebody has brought up a past wrong being done, and they're almost forgiven of anything that they've done wrong. And that happens a lot with government officials. You're just like, you look past everything they've done bad because one thing they did good. You don't look at the fact that, and sometimes it's not even like progression with making laws or making bills or making whatever district they represent better. Sometimes it's just they're there just because they check a box.
Sure.
Right? Like, you can give multiple examples of people who are in high-ranking government spots that do not deserve to be there.
Right.
Based on merit.
How many Congress people,
Yeah.
men and women, are there because no one else ran against them?
Right.
Right. So it's not necessarily like, oh, you've earned the respect of your constituents, and
Right.
that's why you've
Right.
been voted into this spot.
Well, you got to look at somebody like I brought him up before, but Pete Buttigieg or Buttigieg, whatever the fuck his name is,
because he's openly gay.
Yeah, I mean, he got that spot. He's got no idea how to run the Department of Transportation.
Sure.
Obviously, we've had multiple things go wrong since he's been in control of that. But he had a press conference, and before anybody jumps down my throat, I watched both sides of the coverage. I watched the conservative side coverage, and I watched the liberal side coverage. And to be fair, both sides were pretty much trying to, despite them trying to spit their narrative, they both covered the story pretty much down the middle, right? He was at a press conference. They're asking him about the derailments, about the Southwest, the plane cancellations, what happened with the towers, why all of a sudden the towers couldn't communicate with the planes, and every plane had to be grounded, like beginning of January, I think. And he goes and completely diverts answering the question, and turns into the fact that underpasses in New York that are carrying black and Puerto Rican kids, if the bus can't get under the underpass, the construction initially was racist.
Right.
So
I had seen something else where he diverts media attention to something that Trump had vetoed or disapproved of, that he had had having to do with brakes, a braking system or some.
Right.
I don't know, guys, go check it out. But again, you are absolutely hitting it on the head, right? With the idea that this man knows nothing,
right,
but he's willing to spout these talking points,
right?
Right. So it's not a matter of
and they're hot buttons,
right?
Yeah.
It's not a matter of a person up there ready with solutions. It's a person up there ready to divert your attention. Mm-hmm. Hey, I got the smoking mirror. You know what I mean? There's no solutions coming from this man. There's no, hey, we know exactly what to do. We're going to evacuate this entire town or this entire region and then go deal with this because this is a mistake that we made, right? This is a mistake that this is something that we should be ready to handle, and this none of that, right? There's no solution. Mm-hmm. It's just a diversion of your attention so that he could, somehow veer the light away from his own face. Right.
And that's what they do, right? That's the whole point of him saying that an overpass in New York, nobody's talking about New York, you dickhead.
Talking about Ohio.
Nobody's saying anything about New York. And why in the world would your answer have anything to do with a bus full of kids that are black and Puerto Rican, that the original construction of that overpass was racist?
We are seeing time and time again, and it's not just this administration. There's probably been plenty of administrations over the years, right, that just absolutely think nothing of the intelligence of the
people. Right.
They think that all they have to do is spout a couple of hot talking points, and then we're going to be talking about nonsense for forever and a day. Right. And that's basically what we're encountering.
You can also look at, the last 4 years, I guess. So 2020, right, was nothing but COVID, hypnotizing you with COVID talk.
Right.
2021 was the vaccine, nothing but the vaccine. 2022, nothing but the Ukraine. And now, all of a sudden, they're trying to distract you with all these unidentified flying objects flying over the country that could potentially be UFOs. When everybody knows what that initial spy balloon was, right? Everybody knows what it was. Why are we not talking about what that was doing here? Why is it now all of a sudden they're shooting down random things?
Now it becomes a matter of, we shot it down over Canadian airspace as opposed to when it was over our own airspace.
Right.
And guys.
And why are they all of a sudden they're not giving out any information as to what that was doing there?
So, again, let's veer back to the concept of commonality, right? We are a people. We are people, first and foremost. We're human beings. And we want the betterment of us as a collective moving forward.
Right.
So the commonality that we should be dwelling on is how can we gather our resources, our knowledge, our efforts into moving into a direction where we're going to be sustainable.
Right.
Tomorrow, the next day, the next year, the next decade.
Right. Well, so better, like, leave it in a better condition than when you got it, right?
Sure.
Like it's like the basic rental car policy. Like if you get it clean, full of gas, and you turn it dirty with no gas, you get charged, right?
Sure.
Like why would you not give everything you have to make the next set of generations.
So then you move
in a better
into
spot.
then you move into another issue, though, right? Then you move into this idea that climate change is something that we can do. Now, again, whatever individual households, families, groups, organizations decide to do about climate change, I would say go full board on your personal, right? On your personal missions, right? But what has happened is that these individuals, these organizations, these smaller groups, instead of focusing on what their movement forward and their own answer to this climate change is going to be, they want to they want to discredit everyone else about what everyone else is doing and moving forward in whatever it is they're doing. That is the beauty of this country and what the founding fathers had in mind for us, their intention for us, that we can all be moving on very focused ideas within our own realms, and still wear the pride in this country, and that would move us forward collectively.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good enough explanation or a good.
Well,
enough...
you know what I think the answer really is if we had a massive shutdown of cell phones, I think the people in general would almost regress back to what it was when we were growing up, right? There was no instant gratification when you and I growing up. There was no. Sure. There was no, I want this toy and it's delivered to your house the next day, right? There was no hearing something, getting an update on your phone, and it's spreading like wildfire throughout the city you live in, the state you live in. I really think, as easy as it is and as reliant as I am on my own cell phone, I believe that I would be able to get back to functioning like I did when I was in high school.
We just discussed that you're jumping into the next upgrade.
I know. I'm saying what we need. I'm not saying that I don't like my cell phone.
No.
Obviously, everybody likes a cell phone, but the problem is that instant, like we always say, that instant gratification
is a problem.
Right, and the fact you can Google anything at any time is a problem.
Sure.
Like, you don't have to do any research, and it's almost with the phones too. You can type, like we were looking up what a certain a certain stat meant, and you type a letter and Google finishes it for you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to think.
You don't have to have a complete thought.
Right. And it's, as at the risk of sounding like an old man, like, I wish I could go back to the days when we were younger, right? Like, it was it was easier, and we never even knew it.
I heard the question asked, right? And I forget who it was asked to, but the question was asked, hey, is this a case of the older generation looking at the younger generation and not understanding, the level of thought, the newness of their discoveries, and saying, hey, and questioning their styles, like every generation does to the generation before them.
Right.
And the answer to that was no. This is something different, right? And the person, and I believe the answer was given by Brett Weinstein, right? And then Brett Weinstein alluded to something, and again, you could go and look up this interview, but he alluded to the idea that it's not a matter of a generational gap. It's a matter of this specific generation growing up and not having to discover the realities that that come with specific accomplishments, specific benchmarks being met. They don't have to, like they can be perfectly like a kid growing up in this technologically advanced world doesn't necessarily need to go out and find a spouse anymore. Right? Because of all of these technological advancements, they talk about like, porn being a big issue with today's young.
Mm-hmm.
They don't date anymore. They don't, it's
Right.
It's just about these sexual conquests,
Mm-hmm.
and then the sexual conquests don't even have to be had in real life anymore.
Right.
It's you've got all these toys, you've got all of these the
Yeah.
porn in your hand, right? So it's they don't have to go out and interact anymore. All of these pleasures, all of these gratifications are fulfilled via
Instantly.
via the
Absolutely instant.
devices.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a matter of the young generation, they're meeting these goals in a different way. They're not meeting these goals at all.
At all. Right.
Right?
Well,
There's going to be a point where the population dwindles
Mm-hmm.
because of a lack of interaction. There's more of these people. What do they call those people?
Weirdos.
That never have to interact. They're sitting behind their computers. 24/7. They never leave their homes.
Oh, freak shows.
No, but they've given them a name.
I'm sure it's
They've
all
given them some
inclusive.
kind of a name.
Yeah.
Something. Anyway, you guys go check it out. But
gender.
no.
Gender
I forget.
scared.
I forget what it is. Anyway.
Bitch made.
Loser. No.
Yeah.
But but that's becoming more and more of a reality.
Right.
There's going to be a huge population in America. There already is, but it's only going to grow.
Right.
Right. Where this young generation never really have to interact, because everything that everything that at one point was met in real life with real interactions are no longer being met.
Right. And I think that's a big. Another example too. I was talking with Shelby about this the other day. That we watched that Pamela Anderson documentary,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember when that tape was out. There's one copy, or maybe more, but in my class in high school, one tape cycled through all of us, and that's you had to just wait your turn to see it, right?
Right.
Now there's
Everyone's got a
literally
copy.
websites
Right.
dedicated to leaking celebrity
Right.
shit.
Right.
And that was a big, huge deal, and that was probably the start of all this. The Kardashians, you got to think if that tape was never stolen,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta hope that the Kardashians would just be fucking housewives or something.
Sure, probably.
And nobody. And that's another thing too. It's like they make wealth seem so easy if you are an influencer, right? Like you don't have to work, leave your house. You can just do a TikTok dance in front of your phone,
Sure.
and get 1 million views, and you're paid. And there's no hard work, there's no work ethic, and there's no people willing to grind anymore. And we sound like a bunch of old men, but it's true.
Right. I don't know.
It's
There's
hard
a-
to find good people to work. It's hard.
Oh yeah.
And it's always something, right? It's always something that pops up. It's a social issue, or it's too much, or I'm not paid enough. It's just like, what happened to starting at a job,
Mm-hmm.
working your way through the ranks, moving up, experience, 20, 30 years at a job, retire, that cycle's broken.
Yeah. But is it necessarily a bad thing? I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. It's a different thing,
Right.
right? But I will say
it's bad when it's made to look so easy.
Yeah.
It's a detriment to the youth.
You know what?
To make it seem so easy that you can do this with your phone.
On the other hand, though, we know, right, that it's not that easy. and the things that nothing. The old adage that nothing good ever comes easy. It's absolutely truth. We always talk about we're trying to like promote and unleash truths onto our audience, but that's an absolute truth, right? Like I've met so many people who, if they're successful via this thing, they have worked hard. They have gone through a gamut of
I'm not saying there's not people out there that work hard for it.
Yeah.
But there are people out there that think if you put your ass on the screen and get 1 million likes.
I mean, look at these girls with OnlyFans, right? Like, yeah, they're gonna feel, they're gonna experience like, that brief moment of gratification. There's gonna be money, right? But question is, are they mature enough to handle, make right decisions with that money?
Right.
Have they? Are there a good statistical proof that women who have done OnlyFans move on to truly successful lives? After it, there's no evidence that that's the case yet, right? And we've seen via these other interviews on, like, say, Fresh and Fit, or some of these other little podcasts where these OnlyFans girls have they've faced the monetary success, but then the things that come after and the attention that come with it also isn't necessarily what they were looking for. So are we saying that OnlyFans is a terrible thing? We're not saying that. We're not. But what we're saying is nothing that's truly good comes without a price. Right.
And nobody knows what that price is.
And nobody knows what the price is.
With OnlyFans especially, because it's so new, nobody knows what the long-term consequences are going to be for that.
Yeah.
Nobody knows when you're out there.
Influencers, right? Right. Because the influencers that seem super successful right now have this philanthropy type of thing going on, like Mr. Beast. Right, he's a super philanthropist, always looking to give away things and just create awesome content. Right, so he seems to be, and again, I don't know anything about the guy, but he seems to, be a success, I would say.
Well, that's we're giving examples of people who are. I mean, again, you don't even know what
we don't even know these people
long-term effects.
Yes, we don't know anything about anything, but from appearances, right? From appearances, it seems that a guy like that, seems to be doing, there's not too much to be said, not too much negativity to be said about a guy like that as far as what we're seeing right now. And again, we don't know shit.
Right.
We don't know shit. We don't have any proof or evidence of anything.
With OnlyFans though, like nobody knows what, it's all fine and dandy when you're, 22 years old doing this and putting your shit out there for everybody to see and pay to see. What happens when you're 32 years old and you're married and you have kids and the access is so easy, right? The access is so, it's just there to find. And somebody says, oh, your mom's in this or whatever, your dad's in that. It's just like Kim Kardashian now is upset because her kids have access to the tape. Well, don't make the fucking tape.
Well, I mean, she didn't. Obviously, she didn't think about it. She didn't think there was no long-term thought process that. Right. It was all instant gratification.
There's also her mother pinning her out. Right. But anyway, I mean, she did that, and with zero thought of the potential downside effects that it would have.
What do you think what do you think the lives of her kids are going to be like now?
Well, they're already so loaded. It's not. I mean, they're going to be the kid that's in.
I've met people with mad riches, and you always look for some type of peer, peer approval, right? So these people, of course they're going to have friends, and their friends, like you said, have access to being able to see their mom, blowing some other dude who isn't their dad. Right.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be like for them? The more the more the more they have to hear about something like that.
Well, it's just going to be it's either going to be something that they'll be able to build off of and use as motivation, or it's going to be a crutch, and they're going to be rich kids who are in rehab and all this other fucking bullshit because they have the access to it.
Right.
This is a weird group of people to talk about the Kardashians. But
yeah, we went from collective achievement.
Yeah. I mean, look at you got to look at her, the mother's collective achievement, right? She's like, I want to make my daughters the most talked about women.
You know what? If we're looking at collective achievement and then utilizing her leadership, or at least making an observation of her leadership in this collective achievement, what they've been able to achieve is absolutely, I wouldn't say inspirational. Well, I guess you would say inspirational. Millions or billions of dollars between their little empire. I mean, it's
all started with what?
All started with the pimping out of her daughter.
That is a fucking scumbag.
It's a scumbag woman, but if recognition, fame, or and monetary gain was what they were after
at any cost,
then
they succeeded.
They've absolutely succeeded, right?
They've succeeded in the fact that
all of them have participated, whether it was reluctant participation,
right,
or not. These guys have all participated and are now. You can say this Kardashian empire is a collective achievement success.
Right.
I mean, again,
I will tell you the first time I heard the Kardashian name was obviously the OJ case, and I wasn't even thinking when the tape was out that's OJ's now dead friend, lawyer. That's her dad. I didn't know that. You put it together, and you're just like, Jesus. At what point do you just have like enough like self-control where you don't say, hey, you know what we should do, Kim? You should go fuck your boyfriend and somebody will film it and then we'll sell it. And then you gotta be even sicker to be the Kim and say,
and again, look, but who are we?
That's our opinion. My opinion of the Kardashians' mother is you are a piece of shit. Successful, rich, wealthy,
very rich, very
but
wealthy,
an absolute piece of shit.
I mean, the damaged men that ship has left in its wake.
I'm telling you, man.
Right?
There is a curse on those women's asses that any man who touches falls by the wayside.
Successful achievement, successful collective achievement.
They're successful at making the money and putting their name out there and ruining
some high-profile men.
NBA careers.
Kanye. Billionaire Kanye, right?
Used to be.
Anyway.
Some expensive
I don't know, man. But again, you know what? We set out in this episode to
badmouth the Kardashians, and we did.
We did not.
Oh.
We what we set out to do was cause. We want to lean towards dwelling on our commonalities, right? Dwell on these commonalities, move towards a collective achievement, right? So we, in the past, we've done that. Many people criticize religion, but religious movements it was successful in allowing people to come together, finding that common ground in the idea that a higher being was responsible for their being here, and the worship and gratitude toward that higher being is where the future life, and together future achievement was going to be found, right? So today there's kind of a there's kind of a movement away from that organized religion, but what exactly what type of commonality could do what organized religion did, specifically Christianity, right? I guess you could point to, look at the Jewish religion. Jewish religion and its culture, right, is responsible for so much so many riches, right? Families, Jewish families have come together and been able to, create generational wealth, right? Dwelling on commonalities, dwelling on a collective achievement, creating bylaws that would allow them to move forward every generation, right?
Right.
So, I mean, again, what can we do? What can we do here on the Norman Podcast to promote that? What can you do as a listener to, promote that in your own life? That's where we want to be. That's what direction we would like to head into, right? And we should do that together.
Yeah.
So, if you have any suggestions as to what we can all come together and do, I'm all ears. Literally. All ears.
Beat me to the punch. Yeah.
You know what I think? I think we did a fantastic job of wrapping our thought process up.
I also want to say that a small pebble in a calm body of water creates ripples not only on the top, but affects the entire body of water from the floor to the top. We would like to be that pebble.
We would like to be that pebble.
That was a good one.
Put me in, coach. Put me in. And with that,
we gone.
We are out. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share, the whole nine.